All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I am Rachel Baker, and I am the Director of Communications for Stanford's Department of Surgery. I oversee the management of about 12 websites, not including labs, with the help of a small team. And we are almost entirely AEM based because we're at the School of Medicine. But I've used a multitude of CMSs, including Drupal, Wix, WordPress, and Squarespace. Probably missing one there over the years, which is why I believe the information that I'm going to be presenting today can actually be applied universally, despite, no matter what CMS you're using. So let's get started. If you're in this session, you have likely had someone say this to you, and you probably also know that the minute you hit publish is the minute your website is out of date. If you want your website to be informative and engaging, it requires constant updating. And for the most part, the marketing and communications managers I've met at Stanford and elsewhere, managing the website is just a small fraction of your role. So how do you make sure that your website is timely and relevant without spending all of your time on it? So this is the strategy that we've employed at Stanford Surgery for the last few years, and it's working pretty well. I ask each of my web managers to configure their schedules to allow for weekly, monthly, and yearly website updates. And we're going to break each of these down. So because of the sheer amount of things that are happening in our department, there is news on an almost daily basis. But I imagine most of us have seen the research on context switching. So I recommend that my web authors batch their update. Also, because I don't know if you've seen the security to get into some of these websites now, but it's like a whole thing. So these are the types of updates that show prospective faculty and trainees that Stanford is the place they want to be if they want to be doing cutting edge research and where they're going to learn innovative treatments that are saving lives. So news, right? Awards, new faculty and staff that are joining your team, events, deadlines. The residency application process takes months. And our analytics show that MS4s come back to our website again and again and again. So think of it sort of like a retargeting ad. We want to impress our viewers with new information each time they visit, so that maybe this is the piece of information that tips them over the edge, or maybe it's just that aggregation of information that finally gets them to say, yes, I am going to apply to Stanford, or I'm going to rank them number one. So speaking of analytics, monthly updates. So I think of batching my updates for weekly usually takes about an hour. Monthly updates, I also think are going to take about an hour, so that you can think about this in terms of, how much time you want to spend on your website. And this is really all the amount of time that you have to spend to make sure that it is up to date and staying current. So I ask my web authors to take a look at their analytics every month. For the most part, you're just looking for the website to keep on keeping on, make sure that, things are static or maybe growing. But, checking in on your Google Analytics, or whatever we're calling it now, is a great way to make sure that nothing's broken. And you might want to be looking at something, especially if you have like a big event or a news story, make sure that people are finding that page. Maybe you'll see a jump in where your acquisitions are coming from. Maybe you've trying out a new template and you want to see if it's working. Like maybe your bounce rate goes down. People are going different places. How many people are on Cite and Prove? I actually can't see if people have raised hands. But
yet.
if you, what's that?
Nothing yet.
Okay, well, Cite and Prove is, I'd highly recommend that you join it if you're not already on it. It is free for Stanford sites, thanks to the university. And among its more amazing tools, it will give you a list of misspellings and broken links. So I just sign up for that alone, and then you can play with all of the other crazy fun features. But think of this sort of like cleaning your house. I'm an OCD person. So if you think about it in terms of like, I'm going to pick up my shoes every day, or I'm going to, check in sort of, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I'm only making 3 or 4 changes a month on my website because, the number of broken links is very few. So, maybe 1 or 2 links break in a month. So that way, when you get to the end of the year, you spent 12 hours over the course of the year doing all of these updates versus spending it all in one at one time, and then you're doing like 12 hours work, and then no one wants to do that, right? That's so if you think about this in turn, like, okay, Rachel, broken links are not that big a deal, or misspellings are not that big a deal. It really does add up. And if you think about, you're plaguing your visitors. People are getting to your site and they're actually engaged enough that they want to click on that link, and then it's broken. I mean, how sad is that? And then it's dragging down your SEO. Nobody wants that, So if you only do this once a year, you've been dragging it down for months. That's not okay. So don't keep putting it off. My suggestion is to put a recurring meeting on your calendar once a month. And just like a one-on-one with your manager, only this is a one-on-one with your website. All right, so our last but not least is the yearly audit. So that is what we call it at Stanford Surgery. It's not scary, and because you've been doing these weekly and monthly check-ins. So sort of like if you did a yearly performance review and you're like, oh my God, I haven't talked to my manager in a year. That would be scary, right? But if you talk to them every week or every month, you're like, yeah, they've been telling me that I've been doing a great job. And, they told me to work on that, and I have. So once you get to the yearly performance review, things are gravy, right? So it's a bigger lift, but because you're doing these weekly and monthly updates that are just like, filling up the pressure in your tires and getting the car cleaned, you can really focus during this yearly audit on improving your content. And that way you're not getting 3 years down the line and having to do a huge content review and employing an outside firm and spending thousands of dollars and hours on resources that you may not have. In the meantime, people are pissed off. So the first thing I ask each author to do is get a list of goals from their stakeholders. So a website stakeholder might be, for people in School of Medicine, that would be like your division chief or your residency program director. It's anyone who cares about the content you are showing to the public. So this part really seems to trip people up sometimes. So I want to drive a little deeper into what I mean by this. When I say stakeholder goals, I don't mean what are their goals for the website. I want you to ask them what their goals are for the division or program or whatever it is that they're running. Big overarching goals. And then it is your job to figure out how the website can help them achieve that goal. So lots of times in the beginning, when I started asking a stakeholder for goals, they would start reciting the mission statement. And that's okay, right? Your mission statement should always be in the back of your mind when you're designing the website, but goals do not equal a mission statement. Not the same thing. We're looking for something more minute, more time sensitive. Think about like a SMART goal. It has a time, that's the T. So maybe it's your program director wants to recruit a more diverse intern class. That's definitely a goal I've been given before. Or another goal that I was given a couple years ago, you're getting ready to launch a search for a new division chief. sometimes you're really gonna need to pull it out for them because they're just like, yeah, we're gonna, recruit the best. It's the same mission, goal that we always have. So then you try and just ask them for differentiators. What makes us special? Why would a faculty member come here versus Michigan or Harvard? Because let me tell you, it's not the housing prices. So maybe there's a junior faculty mentorship program that you can feature, or maybe it's the opportunity to collaborate with Silicon Valley. But if you try and ask them what their differentiators are, then you can feature them on the website, right? And that will help them reach their goal. So once you have those stakeholder goals, we are back to analytics. Of course, in general, you want to see, we're back to seeing that static and growth when, you're looking at your year over year data. It's cyclical usually because we work in an academic program. But let's talk about how this can fit into your stakeholder goals. What if your chief, he says, okay, yeah, my big goal is to promote research. And then you look at your yearly analytics and that page isn't in the top 3. Maybe it's not even in the top 10. So you need to figure out what changes you can make to get it there. The next thing, which leads us to, so what can you do to get it there, right? Content review. The first thing I do is I sort the pages by the last time they were updated. It's really easy in AEM. It's usually you can see that last time that they were updated. Anyone who hasn't submitted an update to their page in the last 12 months gets an email. We'll start there. Then I methodically go through each section and ask the content owner to review it. Usually as the website manager, you do not know every single thing about the trauma and acute care surgical team or the vascular surgery residency program. So there is a person who owns that content. You need to send them an email, ask them to review it. Hopefully they've been keeping you updated over the years during those weekly updates, but you never know when there's a phone number that changed and they're like, oh my gosh, you totally forgot to send that to you. This is also a really great time to think about keywords, images, multimedia content. Maybe someone in that group gave a grand rounds and there's a video that you can upload and embed, or there's a hero image on that page that is a faculty member who, you love, but he just retired this year. So maybe we're going to make a list of all of the multimedia images, content that needs to be updated. The last thing we do in our audit is design changes. A year ago, the director of our Aspire Center said her goal was to get more consultation requests. They had created this new service within the last year, and we made a page for it, really well thought out, done the keyword research, awesome page. But people weren't finding it. That seemed to be the problem. We looked at the analytics and we're like, people are just, once they got there, they were following the funnel, but they weren't getting to the page. So we redesigned the navigation, the home page, so that it was more prominent. And it worked so well that in this year's audit, she said, you know what, we're inundated with the requests. So can we take that off of the homepage and put this new thing that we're trying to promote in there? And I'm like, yes, this is how the website can help you achieve your goals, right? So the stakeholders are now sort of seeing that synergy between the website and their program and how we can work together to achieve their, these goals. So here are the big takeaways. Websites are never done. Set yourself a schedule to make regular updates. Get site improved. And check in with your stakeholders to learn their goals and update your website to reflect them. I'm happy to take any questions.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions in the chat. The first one is, are there any ways to automate those reminders to update emails, or is that a fully manual task?
Okay, so I do those, I mean, you can automate them, but for me, when I'm sending those emails, most of the time it's changed at least once in the last year who a section chief is. So it might go to like a different person than I'm meaning to. But I mean, you could totally could. It's very, very easy. I use Zapier a lot. And I actually have a specific calendar in Outlook, and then Zapier will it'll zap the event from the calendar, and it will put it into my Trello and make a to-do card for my Trello, and it will have a checklist in there and say, you need to do all of these things. So, my monthly analytics thing comes up and it says, hey, go and check Google, go and check YouTube, go check LinkedIn, and just has all those little check marks for me so that I'm like, oh, okay, it must be the 4th of the month. I'll go and go and do all of that. So yes, automation is great. Love it.
Nice. Our next question is, how do you generate the list of content owners and the dates when they have edited content?
You said, how do I generate the list of content owners? Okay, well, so generate the list of content owners. Hopefully, when you made the page, there was someone that you worked with to make the page. So like we made a new page the other day for Valley, and I made it with Dr. Peter Bendix. So when we ended our relationship, when his page was done, I told him, hey, this is your page. When you need things to be updated, let me know. So every single page, when it was created, has a content owner. And that list just can, like, we add to it or we change it as people come in and leave. And then the dates when they have edited, can you?
Yeah, that was my question. So you're tracking this manually because you have a personal relationship with all of your content owners, and you just
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I mean, I guess do people not have personal relationships with their content owners?
No,
I mean, I see mine
we run thousands of websites.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm just wondering how this scales.
Yeah, sorry. I've only have 400 content owners. So I see them usually on Tuesday when we have grand rounds, and they have to be there. So yeah, that's a little hard.
Great, thank you.
Next question in the chat is, does Zapier have an established contract or agreement with Stanford?
Not that I'm aware of. Sorry. I do have the free plan and I get all of the free zaps. Just figure out a way to do it around it. And I do know that, so I use Trello, also free. But I'm pretty sure that we are getting Microsoft Teams on like the 15th or something, which is in 3 days. It's Monday. So Microsoft Teams is very similar to Trello, and it's an easy way to like assign different things to people. So when I'm working with my web authors, or if I'm working with a content owner, I can assign them that page when we're doing an audit. It'll all be on one board, and that'll be a project. And then I can just move it from like to do, to doing, to done. I love that done column. It makes me feel so happy. But Zapier is great. Yeah, I don't think we have one. Sorry.
Oh. Have you worked with clients or content that isn't specific to completing a certain task? So exploratory information and content.
Okay. So yes, we have done that before. I'm very goal oriented. So doing some exploratory information. That's something we're looking at right now with our Division of General Surgery. Our chief came to us the other day, a couple weeks ago actually, and was like, hey, can we just change the name of the website to the Division of General Surgery Subspecialties? And I was like, like, 500 alarm bells are going off in my head going, okay, what are the implications for SEO? Do people understand what subspecialties are? Apparently, if you are in Europe or in Asia, they call them super specialties, which makes me think of like superheroes. And I'm like, oh yes, I want a cape. So that is something we're exploring right now. We are looking into, if I change it, I called up TDS and I was like, can I just do that? Is that something I'm allowed to do? And they're like, no. So we found out the process. You have to go to Linda Boxer. You have to, if it changes on the website, it has to actually also change in Epic and like your finances and all of these other places. So that is something that we're doing right now. But the goal was, his goal was to find out whether or not we could change the name of the division. So I don't just explore. It's sort of like knitting without a plan of like whether or not it's going to be a scarf or a blanket. I need at least a direction. That's me. I mean, maybe you just go out into the wilderness without a map, but I think I would get lost.
Sorry, the wind slammed the door behind me. Are there any
Hey,
other?
my dog was barking because I'm pretty sure that there was a UPS driver outside. Apologies, everybody.
Are there any other questions from anybody?